Hello, I'm Larry Moon Jr., author of Drama City, A Devious Love Story, and also author of Honey is Thicker Than Water, and I'm on Jerry-Royce Live.
Hello, and thank you for stopping by. I'm your host, Jerry-Royce, and welcome to Positive Power 21 Network, where you get your positive on. This is a worldwide podcast for growth, wealth, and success. Thank you.
Positive Power 21.org, Internet Radio.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and welcome to Jerry-Royce Live on Positive Power 21.org. I am the voice of Jerry-Royce, and when it's all positive, it's all power. That's Positive Power 21.org. And today's sponsors are Queen Z Production is producing a play in Baltimore this weekend, this Saturday, July 19th, called Taking It Back, written by Zenobia Sampson. General admission is $15, but she does have special seating if you call ahead. She's on Facebook.com, Zenobia Sampson. And the play is going to be located at 4801 Liberty Heights Avenue in Baltimore, Maryland. And the number to call for tickets is 614-214-6589. Again, 614-214-6589. All right? And we'd like to thank Pamela Samuel Young, author of Anybody's Daughter. When 13-year-old Breonna is ensnared in a horrifying world of human sex trafficking, her uncle Dre, a man with his own criminal past, scores the dark corners of L.A., determined to find her. Dre ultimately comes up with a daring plan that puts many lives in danger, including his own. But will he find Breonna before it's too late? Check it out on her official website, Pamela Samuels-Young.com. All right? And have you ever received good advice that you were unable to follow? Has your doctor ever recommended a lifestyle change that you found to be unsustainable? Have you ever wanted something in your life but found you couldn't achieve it alone? Contact Purple Rose Holistic Health.com. They will personalize a program that will radically improve your health and happiness. Contact Valerie Moore for free initial consultation. Again, contact Purple Rose Holistic Health.com. And we'd like to thank all the authors that was on our show last week. And starting this week, we want to start with C.D. Farmer, author of The Adventures of Delilah Daisy, Delilah's Big Adventure. Congratulations on her successful book tour. She's still visiting schools and libraries and reading to kids and doing very well with her book. We also want to thank Cheryl Wood, the empowering Cheryl Wood, author of Power to Sizzle, self-help book. And we want to thank her for coming through, sharing her nuggets of wisdom. Also, Amelia Adaja, author of Accelerate Your Glory. We just love her story, her venture from Ghana to come here to America, looking for the dream and taking advantage of the education system, and she's the person she is today because of her goals and her wanting to make it in America. That was big. All right, we got Lane Cobb, author of The Biggest Champion, self-help book. Check it out. I wish I had a little piece on that, but I forgot what that book was about. But I know it was a really good book. She did a fantastic job explaining what that book is all about, but I didn't have my notes ready. Sorry about that, everybody. But also we want to say author and publisher Purple Diamond Publishing. We want to thank Katira Young, and congratulations to her on her imprint. She has a book titled Jaleesa, the Contract Killer, and she also has a series of those books of the contract killers about these young college girls out there receiving contracts to take out the bad boys. All right. And also we like to say thank you very much for author and motivational speaker Bunny the Barge. She will be releasing 2 books during the fall, well, right after one another, I guess taking you up through Thanksgiving, and that'll be this year. The book is called The Kept Ones. There will be Volume 1 and Volume 2. This is a definitive story of the DeBarge family, captured in 2 volumes. If you remember this super group from the 80s, they was out there with Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, They had a old brother group called Switch, and it was a good time for them. They were a very good group, and everybody really enjoyed their music. Oh, yeah, that's right. They was competing with Prince back in those days, too. So check them out. They have some nice YouTube videos out there tell their whole story, and it helps set up this great book that she had just written. Well, these great 2 books that she's about to release. All right, everybody. So no further ado, we're going to have our guest up tonight. His name is Larry Moon Jr. He's a long time Washingtonian. He's a licensed tour guide and currently drives commercial vehicles for chariots for hire. He is a motivational speaker who specializes in helping ex-offenders adjust to return into society. He is currently working on his second novel entitled For the Love of Honey, and he does have several other books out right now. He has a book out called Honey is Thicker Than Water. He has the Drama City, I think the Devious Love Story Part 2, and there's a Part 1. So all these books have been released since November. He dropped one in June and July. I don't know how he does it because I know he just got married. So you don't have a lot of free time anymore, Larry, to do all this stuff. So how you doing, Larry? Welcome to the show, brother.
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
All right.
Man, good.
All right.
Good. I want to welcome everybody.
That's right. Good, man. Glad to have you on, man. You're a busy guy. We were glad to catch you. I was checking you out on Facebook. I see you had went out on your honeymoon. You got married. You put that big carrot on her finger. So how does it feel to be a married man?
You know, man, my wife was talking about this, how committed we were in our relationship. It's just similar, man. It's just right now we're just trying to transition into the oneness of a marriage. But as far as transitioning from the engagement, the relationship to the marriage, it's almost the same because we were just committed, you know.
Yeah. Good.
But it's great.
Man. That's right. I remember how hard it was to get used to, you know. Well, see, when my wife and I got together, she was still living with her parents because she wasn't too long out of college, and my brother and I, we had a place together, so it wasn't like she really spent the night and lived in my crib, you know. So when we got together and got our first apartment together, it was kind of different, man, coming home to somebody, you know, or you're home waiting for somebody to come through the door. You know, I was so used to my brother and I just coming and going. Most of the time it was an empty apartment, you know. And then get used to saying this is my wife instead, this is my lady or fiance. so I know it's a big change in your life, man. But again, congratulations to you, man. We wish you the very best, man, in your marriage, man. So I'm celebrating I celebrate 23 years in April, man.
Wow.
All right. Yep. So you know, you hang in there, you get a chance to experience the different chapters of your life, and then you got a book, man. By the time you turn 70.
you know
All
what? I hope I can call you, man, when I need some advice, man, because that's what they told me. Call people who married, you know.
That's right. Well, you know where I am, man. I'm right there on Facebook. You can instant message me, and you know how we are. We pretty good about getting right back to you guys. So need some help, man. Just understanding, you know, what they're going through. You know, we'll help you put it in perspective, man. All right, man. Well, let's talk about Larry Moon. You got a lot going on in your life, man. Now, tell us about this company, this commercial driving company, man. What's the deal with that?
Church for Hire. I've been there about 3 years. Before that, I was a training manager at another company, and they got brought out. So I had to transition from being a training manager to just being a driver. You know, still bring the same professionalism, you know, to the company. It's a big company. They do charter buses. They have contracts with different companies, and I just so happened to they saw something in me and wanted me they wanted to put me on one of their more prestigious contracts, which is the Gaylord Hotel, which is one of the larger convention centers. So I do the tours there at the Gaylord Hotel, and I do the shuttle, and I'm a licensed tour guide as well.
All right. Wow. Yeah, so my dad just got into that, man, a few years ago. I can't even count how many years now. It's been a while now, but he has a company that does tours on the Eastern Shore for Harriet Tubman. And,
okay.
They're actually one of our sponsors. Well, they've been sponsoring us for a while now. But that is great, man. So the Gaylord, my wife and I, we actually have taken the kids there during a Christmas holiday. I mean, they really put on a spectacular production. So you're actually working on the one that's in the National Mall, right?
Yeah. National Harbor,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah,
Right
National
there,
Harbor. Yeah, beautiful place, beautiful. And they always offering real nice discounts for couples, like I guess for anniversaries, birthdays, those kind of things. So
yeah.
it is. You got to see this place. It's unbelievable. It's like almost like an indoor. What you call it? Got like a planetarium where they have like grow plants and all that stuff.
Yeah. And they do a light show. They do a light show in there. So,
wow.
yeah.
Okay.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's timed. They have certain times, and they'll tell you when to come down. You can come down to see the light show. And in the winter, around Christmas time, they'll have the snow, the make believe snow coming down while they're doing a little light show or whatever. You can bring the kids and stuff.
That's right. They got the sports bars in there, so they have food, dessert. You want to buy expensive jewelry, they have that. Yeah, so you're a baller, you want to feel like a baller, you go down to the Gaylord. And that whole area is really, really nice anyway, unbelievable, man, what they had done to that place. And it's like it's always 2-3 hour wait to go to these restaurants, man, especially during this time of the year. Crazy. So how's it been, living in Washington all your life, man? I mean, did you find your wife there?
Yeah. It's been a journey, man, because I was here. I was here through certain eras, man, and early on. I'll say about 13, 14 years old. I was here with the PT epidemic. And then the PCP epidemic, the drugs, when they had the war on drugs and stuff like that, man. And I took a wrong path, man. So I was, I had a few uncles that was going the wrong way, and I idolized them. And then I had an uncle that was going the right way, and he was trying to get me to go the right way, but I was already focused on them other older uncles that was going the wrong way, and I thought I can get what they had, and they ended up going, doing the jail thing, and I ended up following them, so I ended up getting something else that they had that I didn't want to partake in, But other than that, just growing up, coming up, experiencing the breakdance thing and stuff like that, man. It's been a journey for me in Washington D.C., and I'm just thankful to God that I'm able to give back and tell my story and help other people who veer down the wrong path, who want to find a different path.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So you were able to transition out, so your stint was a very short time. You were able to get out, get your life back on track. So was this like your earlier days, like, you're talking about your teens, your 20s, 30s?
I'm talking about the early teens and all the way up until about the 30s. Yeah, just,
wow.
Yep. Yeah, man.
Wow. Yeah.
And
take time to bounce back. All right, but the thing is, you bounce back. Now, so on your bio, say you're a motivational speaker. You specialize working. So who are you speaking to when you're doing your motivational speaking?
I speak to lawyers who represent clients that are going before the parole board. So that's a set of a group that I have. So I go and lawyers who are graduating. And they're trying to be lawyers that represent people that are going in front of the parole board. I have a presentation that I give, trying to kind of give them an overview of the average offender, what to expect and what they expect of you, and just give them some different areas to look at, because they don't know much, just coming in. They just know that paperwork. They just know, they're showing them some of the guidelines and stuff like that they're supposed to go by and what they expect from the parole examiners and stuff, but they don't really know who else to tell them better than me from the person who's been in that seat of a person who they would have to represent. Because I had to be represented by a lawyer when I was going in front of the parole board. So I speak to them. I speak to ex-offenders, those who are coming home, transitioning home, those who have been in and out of jail all their life, and they're coming home and they don't know how to build a relationship with their family. They don't know how to reintegrate into society and do resumes and, even use the jobs that they had while they were in prison, how to use that to their advantage on the resume. Just a wide variety of things that I present to, and that's one of my specialties, ex-offenders.
Right. Okay. Now, it's interesting you bring this up. I actually received a instant message from a listener, and she was telling me how she had a relationship with a gentleman who was a long-term prisoner, and he was released, but he's a little older than her, but he's really wise. She's learning a lot from. I guess a lot of his education come from books and maybe I guess some seasoned guys on the inside. So he's really, really smart. But she said he has problems with a relationship. Now, how can you help a guy that's in that situation? You know, what are you offering him with that?
What I would offer, and like I do in my seminars, I just have them to kind of reflect back on some of their early relationships, whether it's mother, brother, or whatever. Somewhere along the line, there's some deep-rooted things, some things that didn't happen, some things that did happen. Some people need to get therapy. Some people are dealing with, molestation issues and things of that nature, and so they have trust issues. They have a lot of stuff going on, and there's some other stuff piled on top of that that we wouldn't know about. We'll just see the outside, or we'll just see, the stuff that's on the surface. We won't see that deep-rooted stuff. So this kind of like, because there are 9 times out of 10, there are some things going on, whether the person went in at a young age, and because men in prison, that's a whole different society. There's rules, there's values, there's beliefs in there that contradict what's happening out here. So it's a whole new adjustment process for somebody that has to go in there once they come out. But somewhere along the line, family values and stuff like that were twisted around, or something happened, and that was compromised, and they learned another set of values and stuff, which will allow them to act a certain way in certain relationships, and it'll hinder them most times.
Right. So now, you mentioned they need to get psychological treatment. Do they receive those type of benefits? Because I heard they get a lot of great benefits, when they affiliate with the state. Is it offered to them once they leave the facility? The institution.
It's offered to them, but what happens is that it is offered to them, but so many times, because I always say prison is superficial, man. So being incarcerated, when people get out, after doing that time, they just happy to be out, and they think that all I need is a job, all I need is a roof over my head. I just want to eat some watermelon again. I want to eat some chicken, and they forget all about those things that. Coping skills and stuff like that. They forget all that stuff that played a part in them going there, so they ignore it. They don't ask for it. It's there. It's readily available for them. And the state, one thing about it is that, and not to say, badge of POs or anything like that, a lot of times they'll offer you something if it's in your court order, like domestic violence help. They'll say, if it's something mandatory that you got to get, then they'll offer it to you. Other than that, it's up to you to say, this is what I need. And most people will only address what they need if they're trying to get out of some time by a judge. If they're trying to get a lenient sentence, then they'll say, oh, judge, I might need some therapy. But once the time is done, once they do their time and they come out, they just want it the easiest way out. They don't want to do nothing extra. They just want to, get through this parole or probation thing, so they won't ask for it. But to answer your question, it is readily available. All they got to do is ask for it in most cases.
Right. All they got to do is ask for it. Now, it seems like today employers are a little more prone to help out. Because I remember when I was doing employment development with the Urban League, I remember that a lot of employers would get huge tax breaks, tax credits for hiring ex-offenders. Is that more, is that something you see a lot of now? They're opening the doors more now. The probation officers have a lot more positions available for the guys, and they're not just like jobs like doing janitorial and custodian, but more trained. I guess they call it, what those jobs called? I forgot what they call those jobs. But you need somebody that actually was trained in that industry. You see that more happening more?
Well, I think it's kind of like the same case. I think it's kind of like because you have bonding. You have where people are being bonded. So if they have a criminal background or whatever, it's like if they're bonded, then that gives the employer a little more incentive to hire them. But they do, and here in D.C., they do have programs. They have Project Empowerment. Let me give you an example, Project Empowerment. And what they do is they send, and that's just for ex-offenders. That's it. Nobody else. You have to be an ex-offender. There's a wait list. You get on it. you get paid for Project Empower. Let's say they pay you $345 every 2 weeks. They'll send you to a job site where you would normally be getting more if you were permanent, but because you're not, Project Empowerment is paying you, but the company is just taking 10 people, and that's just extra help for them. That's a low experience or whatever, but they're not out of 10, they're not going on permanent. Project Empowerment is sending them. So that's, so I do see that in some programs do have opportunities like that. But there are other ways, and a lot of times, man, people come home, they just don't pursue it. They'll just rather take the easy way out. They don't want to deal with the waiting period of telling the PO, look, how do I be bonded? What do I need to do? A lot of times it's just not happening. They're just, some people are doing like Project Empowerment, but then others are just coming home and just trying to go get a job. They're not looking at, some other incentives or whatever that may help.
Right, they just trying to get some income real quick. All right. Good. Now, you got a lot of guys, a lot of these kids now, they finding out that most of the young boys don't really start seeking trouble, go down the wrong road till it's time to get in the 9th grade. That's where the trouble happens. Are you guys going a little bit further, like middle school, and say, okay, this is where we need? Because I'm finding out, I mentored to some high school boys, and they just had a huge initiative called an all-male summit where they invited all these kids from middle school that had really good grades and got them into the high school so they can get around the staff to get a chance to talk to the boys on the sports, on the athletic teams. And the boys that left and came back, talked to them about what the experience is like in college. So they kind of gave them a real jump start. Like fast forward, this is what's happening to me right now. But all the stuff that's happening that's ahead of you, this could keep you from being where I am right now, like being on the athletic team, going to college on a scholarship. So they were throwing all that at them, man. We talked about A, B, and C plans, Yeah. So are you guys doing the same thing on that area as far as keeping kids out of trouble and like from being incarcerated?
I haven't been given the opportunity. I do have a friend of mine. I'm supposed to be getting with him soon. Black Man Coalition. He does ventures like that. And I had an idea. I was just running it past him, and I was telling him I wanted to be an initiative called From Ex-Offender to Executive. And I was just saying that same thing. And I wanted to direct it to the youth as well who haven't been caught yet. Because you can offend and not be caught. So ex-offender means I don't want to do that no more, even though I haven't been caught. And becoming an executive is executive of my journey. I get me a mentor. I start to follow some direction. I become an executive within myself. So I was just talking to a good friend of mine who was with the Black Man Coalition to try to get an initiative like that going. Because I started young. I started in the streets and stuff young. So, and a lot of youth, they're just misguided. They just don't have they're being overpowered by role models, and I'm not just talking about guys who they're watching that's older than their own friends, what they say and what they don't say, and just trying to fit in, because I too dealt with that, and I had friends, man, they didn't have to say much. It was just the things that they did that drew me into the things that they did. I wanted that, when they were sitting around telling stories. Just say, for instance, about stealing cars. They were telling stories about it. I just felt left out. I didn't have no stories to tell, so I wanted to, so having somebody there to try to guide me in the right direction, I think would have been one of the key elements to help me navigating towards that direction.
Right. And you said the key thing, man, telling a story. Everybody want to tell their own story. And sometimes when you're sitting around a campfire, which, like in the hood telling a story, they're not going to be the kind of stories you want to tell your grandkids, but you don't think about that at the time. But I'm thinking about some guests who have come on here and told me that they found themselves in their rooms making up their own stories, writing poetry, short stories, and they transitioned that into school, loving the writing and literature, and then they kept them out the streets. But then I found some guys that have been on the show who kind of went down the wrong road. They found out that they didn't have a love for writing until they were incarcerated because there was nothing else to do, and they found out they actually had a talent for it and telling great stories. you know. So I was always wondering why some of these initiative programs don't just put a lot of writing into the program first. And then the kids will say, because you kind of see yourself where you want to be when you write things down, because you get a chance to read it, you're recording it, and then you say, oh, I'm going to rewrite, I'm going to make it better, I'm going to make my story a little better, I'm going to make this character a little better. And then you find out when you do get around the wrong people, you kind of can see the story the way it's going to end before it happens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
The reason why I say that is because my friends and I, we actually had a little club where we wrote and published our own comic books. You know, we had the good guys and the bad guys, but we favored the good guys. We had some really bad guys, but what happened to those guys? They all ended up down the same path. Either they was destroyed or they were incarcerated. You know?
Yeah.
So it kind of gave us, and that was like middle school when we were doing that. So naturally, we had ambition when we got to high school, you know, to start working on our career. All right, Larry. Well, look, man, we at the top of the hour, bro. It's time to talk about your book, man. You ready?
Yep.
All right, man. You've been a writing machine. You got a lot of products out here. Now, tell us in what order have these books been released? Okay.
Yep. Drama City, A Devious Love Story, was first self-published in 2010. And It got into the right people's hands. What I did, I tried to do something different, and I decided to put the capital on it, and so that once you'll see the capital, you know, people see the capital, they know these things of Washington, D.C., politics and stuff like that. And then once you open the book up, you were supposed to go into the underworld of D.C., and they got into the right people's hands, the G. Prince's Publishing, and they said, man, this is an urban book. I wouldn't have never known it had not happened. It was sent as a gift, and, you know, I was looking at it, but I wouldn't have never known it. You have to think about changing the book cover. So I thought about it, and I said, yeah. And I came over the idea of Devious Love Story. And so what I did, we broke it down with a two-part ebook, part 1 and 2, and it's one paperback.
Okay.
And so the second novel is Honey is Thicker Than Water, and that was supposed to be For the Love of Honey at first, and I changed the name. Somebody already had that book. So I thought about some of the things that Honey went through, and I said, wow, you know, a lot of people say blood's thicker than water. I said, man, it just hit me. Honey's thicker than water.
That's right.
And both of the stories, I
said, you're right, man. It is. I'm thinking about that Ohio Player album when they poured honey on that girl, and it was rumored that they couldn't get it off of her after the shoot. You remember that?
Yeah.
All right, now Drama, your first book, The Devious Love Story. Okay, you have a lot of reviews on this book. How are you favorite with these reviews?
Both alike. I had a few that were constructive criticism. Mm-hmm. Then I had other people just loved it. They loved the pace of the story. They loved the research that I did. Some of the surprising chapters that you just didn't. It was unpredictable. That's what most people were just. It's just unpredictable. They could never predict what was going to happen. And I think that's what a lot of readers,
All right. Now, this is about a guy named Tim Johnson who was a convict who lived in the code of the streets, death before dishonor. His life turned for the worse, leaving the test of survival at his feet. Cliff Porter, Daryl Jenkins, they're some of the main characters that's in his life, these guys. Porter and Daryl. Okay. So they learn the ins and outs of the drug game. So these guys are affiliated with the underworld.
Yeah.
All right.
And
tell us a little bit.
I'm sorry.
Now, go ahead and tell us a little bit about Tim Johnson's character and then his comrades, Porter and Daryl, without us giving away the story, because we want people to buy the book. So because you still got it out there. So tell us a little bit about your characters and why you feel so strongly about them.
Tim was a leader, and he had some guys that were following him, and he was just, because it starts out in prison, and it starts out in a prison that was once the name of a prison, Lorton, Virginia, and some people, a lot of people in the federal system have heard about it. It was a DC-based prison, and there was a lot of stuff going on there. So he was caught up in the lifestyle. Cause like I was talking about earlier, when you go to prison, you're in a different society. So this guy was living in a society, and he had a business mind, and he used that to manipulate and lead while he was incarcerated. And so his character, he was real strong. You know, he was a leader, and he had strong conviction and values based on jail life. You know, what should be, what shouldn't be. And he had some other guys who were following him, and he was, you know, leading them and basically instilling some different values in them as well.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I would just say this, that he got a letter from a girlfriend. You know, when you're incarcerated, you want that person that you're dealing with, no matter, most guys, no matter the time, they just want them to be there. They just want, you know, and they feel betrayed when that person say, I can't do it no more. I feel like I'm a prisoner myself. Right. So once he got his conviction overturned and he went back home, he just felt some resentment. He wanted to play the ultimate trick on her, and that just set the whole mold for Drama City.
Ah, wow. Okay.
And that was to make her fall in love with him and act like everything was all right. And he basically placed a bet with her with the guy she was dealing with, that she had stopped dealing with him for, and you know, placed a bet and said, I bet you I can get her. And it just took a whole turn. But throughout the story, it was a lot of research done. There was a lot of information that was shared to go into the insight of, you know, a person caught in the street life.
Good. Now, one of your big fans said they would give you 20-star rating. It was hard to put down. I love the trick Tim pranked on Linda. Must try that one. They want to try that one. And can't wait to give part 2 a try. Now, like you said, you had a couple reviews that you probably learned something from. But some people just don't have a lot of patience when it comes to reading. They just want to jump right in. Everything's supposed to happen in the first chapter. They don't want to, you know, get to know the characters and that kind of thing. No patience. Because everybody else was really, really happy. Somebody said, great story. They thought it was a little slow, but it picked up in the middle, and it left with some unanswered questions. So they definitely was interested in part 2. And they thought it was awesome. They thought the characters was great. They thought it was funny, a similar story to something happened in real life to one character, so they could relate. So you said you learned something from some of the other, and what was some of the things you learned from some of the smaller reviews?
I think that you just kind of touched on it, and because somebody was just like it was too slow for them, and I immediately thought about the next book and how I was just going to pack the punch and how I was going to, you know, deliver this thing that you just can't put down. But then I realized when I started doing that, I said I still have those moments where I have to build the character, where I have to tell things about the character, where I have to go into dialogue about things that brings the character to life. I can't just go and, you know, and so I said, man, you know, maybe that's the person that likes those books, Zane books or something, where you're just coming in and, you know, I don't know. But I have to, and I just said, you know, I do have to give that dialogue and stuff. And, you know, so what I learned is that some people just have different tastes. And I said, I still have to stick to why I started to write. It was to send a message. And the message can't be sent because everybody has different reasons or different styles of writing. And mine has to be message filled. So in me filling a message, I have to have pointers. I have to have points of reflection, dialogue that builds up the character and some of the character's beliefs. So in me doing that, some people just going to be like, man, get to the, you know. So. Yeah.
Well, I hate to compare this metaphor to it, but it's almost like some people want to, like, they wanted to come into, like, instead of having a relationship with a woman, or let's flip it this way. Say a woman just met a guy. Instead of her sitting there at the bar talking to him over a couple drinks, getting to know each other before then give her phone number out after she said, oh, I really like this guy. Say they just sat down and she just wrote her phone number down and slide it to him.
Yeah.
and now the audience is like, oh my God, do you see that? And what is he going to do? Now the guy's surprised. It's like they want that intensity. And I noticed that in some of the books that I do read, like I read some of the samples. It's free on Amazon, and they come in hard. Like, oh my gosh, this is so graphic. I don't know if I can take no more of this book. And sometimes I make a decision right there that I don't know if I could download this whole book. I may not be able to get to sleep.
Yeah.
So and I guess that's what some of the audience, some of these readers are kind of used to. So, but once you find we was talking about this with a life coach. Once you find your brand and your audience is like your audience, your fans, then you can keep it real the way you want to keep it. So, you want to be true to you, right?
Yeah.
All right. Now we're going to talk about Honey. We got a few more minutes. We're going to talk about Honey. Honey has a boyfriend. She thought she knew something about him. I think he would just say master's charm. He had a dark family secret. Now, what happened in this book that, you didn't do with the other books to make this one probably more? Because it looked like you got like 4 stars going across the board. So what did you do differently with this book?
I think it was just a different type of book. And it was geared at, and we was kind of talking about people getting psychological treatment and stuff like that. So one of the characters had some things going on where it's hard to not give the book away, but he had some things going on. And he was saying a psychologist, and he had some issues that he needed to deal with, and he was immediately connected with Honey. But you have to, people have to read the book, and they have to take their time and really. Because I had one reader say, like, at first I was stuck. I started to get it and figure it out. I was like, wow, like, how did you think of that? I had somebody say, how did you think of that, and how did you piece it together? But I just wanted to send a message, and I'll put it out there. I wanted to send a message about HIV.
Okay. I was about to say, somebody stole your joy in one of the write-ups. It did mention that, the HIV. I didn't think you were going to mention that, but that was important for you to bring that up. Yeah.
Because when it was, a few years ago, it was real heavy. It was an epidemic, and people were just, like, getting AIDS and just, like, not knowing and just dying. And then as time went on, you just have different type of situations with people getting HIV, and people just still not aware. So I said, okay, I'm going to create this story because there's so many different stories, but let me make something a little different and put it in a story. And I think some people just was like, wow, just the way that Honey was victimized. It was sad to them. But it's just so many different things that go on. I just wanted to kind of create a story to make people want to read it, but because I had to take them to the message. I had to stick them there, especially most, urban readers. I had to give them that and then take them to the message, and she was able to succumb. And once she went through all of the typical things that a person would go through, they found they have a fatal disease. It's treatable, but it's fatal, of not only trying to get herself together to cope with this and live with this and not feel like they're dying with it, but also to help other people. So I just try to do it, and there's going to be a part 2 of that. A lot of people ask, like, how did you end it like that, and how did But it's set up for a part 2.
Yeah, you have to, man. Because now one person, I don't know if you guys can delete reviews, but somebody, man, they wrote like 2 paragraphs on the review. So she wrote a lot. I think probably your twists and your turns of this book is probably mentioned. I was just skimming through what it was talking about, but it looked like she mentioned a lot of important things that went on in the book. I don't know how you feel about that. I'm sure she was excited about this book, and she just had to tell everything about it. But it's like giving away the whole movie.
I know. I said the same thing, and she's a reader. She's a reader because she really. I don't know if she was like looking at how she must have did that review like right after she read it because she just hit a lot of key points in the book.
She did.
Pretty much, a lot of it she gave away in the book.
Yes. So how are you doing, so far? I know you just released this book, but about a month ago, right?
Yes.
So how you doing with sales so far? Because it's often in just Kindle.
Yeah, it's gradual. It's gradual. It's not booming as quick as Drama City. I think a lot of people were just anticipating Drama City, more.
Yeah.
And I was marketing it different, and I got off kind of like a late start with marketing this. But one thing about a book, once it's published, it's there. It's there. It's always there for people to get it, and it's always there for me to market it, remarket it, or whatever. So, but I'm very hopeful.
That'll pick up. Now tell us some of the ways. What are some of the ways how you? Now we got a few minutes. What are some of the ways how you market your book that like a newbie listening to the show? They know they got a good story in them. They don't have a lot of money. Sound like ebooks sounds very attractive. They can afford an artist. What would be your advice to them? Venturing into this.
Well, I found that a marketing tool. Whenever they send me they email me a copy of my my book cover. When they email me about, I save it, and I go in. You know how you go in CVS and you print out pictures?
Right.
I print out, the book cover comes right out just like it almost looks like a professional job. And you're getting it for half price. And what I do is I run a lot of those off. I'm out there. I get a few guys to go to some of the restaurants and stuff, and a lot of people do. And I haven't seen an author do this yet. I've come outside of my car at a TGI Fridays or something, and they have something in your windshield about a club or something like that. We got the book promotions in there. So I haven't seen nobody do it yet. So
yeah, I've been hearing it all on this show, man. I heard one girl, she takes her little postcards or business cards, it's like a cover, like what you do.
Yeah.
And she goes to stores like Walmart and stick them in other similar books that she thinks someone else will. Yeah, wow. She called that's serious guerrilla marketing. She was at the checkout line at Walmart. She said, and the girl said, "I recognize you," and she said, "Who are you?" And then she told her, she said, "Oh, I found your card in one of the books I put on the shelf." I was like, "Wow, man!" But she got a sale from it, And I think somebody asked her. Yeah, but she said one guy emailed and said, "I can't believe you stuck your business card in my favorite author's book." But he downloaded her book anyway, so she got the sale. He didn't like it, but she still got the sale. so he was curious. All right, man. I appreciate it, Larry. I mean, best of luck to you, man. Now, before you get out of here, man, is anything you'd like to say about your books? Any authors listening, your audience, your fans? Go right ahead, man. It's all yours.
I just want to say, Drama City. I wanted to talk about that's my baby project right there, Drama City. It also has poems in there, and the poems are written by me. They're poems written by me, and Tim was handed this poem. That's one of the main characters. He was handed this poem while he was in solitary confinement, and it was to help him kind of cope and kind of navigate. So he would reference to this poem. With situations that were going on and stuff. So it is filled with some original poems, a few original poems, and Drama City as well. I did a lot of research on Drama City. I did a lot of research for Honey is Thicker Than Water, and I feel good about the commitment, and because it does take time and commitment, and I just heard you say a lot of people, some people can write good while they're in jail, and when they come out, they get sidetracked. I was one of those people, but I made my mind up to commit to that, and what came out was a product, and the product is Drama City, and Honey is Thicker Than Water, and I got something else coming real soon, and it's entitled Forever My Lady. Forever My Lady, a love-hate thing, and it's about the domestic violence. So. All
right, yeah, man, that's very prevalent right now. I think, I have back-to-back guests, man, that were talking about the abuse, and I definitely that's why I always throw those ladies' names out there, man, because a lot of people say you never really fully heal, you're just recovering, and writing is a process for them, which is helping them cope. But they're trying to live the most normal life they can. But I appreciate them coming on here with their honesty because they're helping somebody. It may be somebody else looking for some special formula. And I think a lot of you guys have tapped onto it, just getting it out there and letting them know that, we want to hear you, Let's talk about it. All right. All right, Larry Moon Jr., we appreciate you coming on Positive Power, jerry-royce Live, man. We gotta have you back, man. When you drop your book, you know where to hit me up at, man. We gotta get you back on here, man. And and maybe a forum or something, man, talking about, you guys, your gifts, your special gifts that you have. All right, man?
All right, I appreciate you having me, man. Thanks a lot. I'll be in contact with you, too.
Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is Larry Moon Jr. He's the author of Honey Thicker Than Water, Drama City, David's Love Story Part 2. You got Part 1 out there. You got paperbacks. Support the brother. I think this was a very good show, man. I never know where these shows are going to go, but I just let God lead us, man. Just let him lead us, man. Tell your story. All right, brother. Appreciate it, man. And great and tremendous success with your marriage, man. Anytime you need some advice, man, you just hit me up, all right, bro?
I'll do that. Thanks a lot.
All right. This is Jerry Royce for 22 years. 22 years of marriage. Still kicking. That's right. She's still hot. All right. Y'all take care, and thanks for tuning in with Jerry Royce Live. And we got an 8:30 show coming up with Hazel Cartwright. Thank you very much. Thank you for tuning in to the Positive Power 21 Network. Team 21 would like to thank you all for tuning in, and please spread the word and tell a friend. This is Jerry Royce at Positive Power 21, where we get our positive on.
PositivePower21.org, Internet Radio.
All right, that's a wrap.